welcome our second speaker to the stage, Mr. Amedeo, founder and designer of Amedeo by RFMAS. Amedeo, please.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody, and it's a pleasure to be in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is definitely one of the capital of the world of luxury, and the exhibition center is definitely the most important jewelry fair in the world, the most relevant. But today we're talking about men's jewelry and light luxury. What is light luxury? I think, in my opinion, light luxury is the new wave of jewelry, and it could be also fine jewelry, but in a more unconventional way that we have been experiencing in the past decades or hundreds of years. We're definitely experiencing a shift in the jewelry market, in the idea of jewelry. Jewelry has always been existing, and men have always been wearing jewelry in the history, from the Roman times, from the Greek times before, and the Egyptian time before. But I'll show you where we are now. It used to be a status symbol. It used to be something to wear and express power, express royalty, express the position in the society. So we had emperors, we had kings wearing a crown. You were not a king without a crown, and crown is jewelry. And warriors couldn't wear, had to be wearing armored shields engraved in bronze or gold or silver to express power and to intimidate their enemies. Later on, jewelry has been more embellishing. It's been in the Renaissance time, and before that, we had Henri VIII or Louis XIV, who were wearing jewelry to still express their infinite power, but in a more flamboyant way, in a more probably embellished way than before, until we move into the Industrial Revolution. And after the Industrial Revolution, men start becoming more serious. First of all, men start going to work in factories or in big companies. And so jewelry becomes a symbol of more of efficiency, to be honest. And they were less of a flamboyant symbolism, but more jewelry inconsistent with a lifestyle that didn't exist anymore. So we have maybe a watch, maybe a clock in the pocket, then cufflinks, and a wedding band, nothing more. We move forward very fast into the 60s and 70s, and finally we see jewelry coming back thanks to rock stars. And the rock stars become the kings of the past, and it's in music, pop stars. And we have Jimi Hendrix, David Bowie wearing jewelry that you could consider women's jewelry. Probably it was women's jewelry, but for the first time we see it on men's. And people, the younger generation, start looking at jewelry in a different way because now their icons are wearing it. And so wearing it in a way that it wasn't what they saw on their parents or their relatives in their society. So sooner, this pop icon start coming from the magazines, the glossy covers, into our TVs and social media, and we see them on red carpets at the Oscars, for example. This is Spike Lee and 2018 Oscars. He won the Oscar, and you can see that he's, in his official portrait, is holding the statue of the Oscar that he just won and the necklace that I designed for him to go to the Oscar, because he thought that the necklace that I made for him was hold a mystical power and was a good luck charm. Thank God he won the Oscar, so he kept commissioning more jewelry from me. But that becomes like a norm now. We have celebrities wearing jewelry every day, and they're not necessarily iconic celebrities of more gender fluid, but people like Spike Lee, for example. You see him here with two of my rings. One, it's very personal to him because it's his initial carved on a cameo on a big ring, and it's his ass that actually his wife gifted him for the holidays. And these beautiful ring that I made for him for another important, for the BAFTA Awards, because he was going to the awards. I wanted to wear something that would warn off the evil eye from people, because of course, if you're a celebrity, you're always under the scrutiny of people, and he never takes that ring off. So you understand that men's jewelry now becomes something so personal, so relatable, and so it needs to have beyond the value, the price, the cost, but a personal symbol. And if it's personal symbol, then it becomes successful, because then it establishes a relation between the brand and the jewelry and the client that goes beyond the marketplace, beyond the selling and the buying, beyond the product. So the product becomes your own symbol of expression, of self-expression. We're reaching now a generation that is not afraid to wear jewelry that once, I mean, his father probably would never dare to wear that. But where does it come? It comes with the light luxury movement. So we started with wearing very expensive sneakers that even when I was young, it wasn't even, weren't even available. A sneaker was a sneaker. Now it has to be a designer sneaker, and it's probably going to cost $1,000 US. So now jewelry is an accessory that goes with those sneakers and that watch. And it's a way to express your culture, your tribe. And if you want to feel represented by a tribe, fit in, and jewelry is becoming one of that. So, of course, the designs have to become more and more relatable to your customer, and I'm sure that everybody here is in the industry, so we're interested in the business part too. So we have to design men's jewelry for the client that we choose. So we have to choose the client and then express in jewelry their own individuality. Otherwise, it's never going to be successful. There is something that, for example, in the show, I don't see a men's jewelry floor, a men's jewelry department, a men's jewelry section. And that's a problem, because men shop where they feel comfortable. Women would buy jewelry in a grocery store. That's undeniable. In a beauty parlor. Men need to know that they are safe. They want to know that if they see a man's ring, a skull ring, right, in black silver, they will still ask, is this men's, if it's not in a shop that looks like a men's shop. Maybe it has to look like a barber shop with a billiard and, and some records, some vinyl records. And then they will be sure that that's a men's jewelry that he can buy. So we have to sort of move from the idea that men don't buy jewelry. Men sometimes do not buy jewelry because they don't know where to buy jewelry. Because in a traditional jewelry shop, they will feel intimidated because man is usually relegated to one window in the back of the shop because the owners just want to sell women's jewelry. And then they think we also have men, but men will never buy it in that shop. They need to be in an environment that speaks to them and represent them. The idea is always that we have to speak to the client, and we have to interpret his desires. So now what changed with social media and our pop culture, the business, it doesn't happen anymore top down. Before, you would come to the jewelry exhibition, you would buy diamond, jewelry, stones. You would put it in your store and you would tell the client, this is the new collection. You have to buy, this is the new stone, this is what's in trend. Now, it's exactly the opposite. The economy in everything, even politics, it's bottom up. So we all know what's happening because we are on smartphones, we're on X, we're on TikTok, we're on social media, all platforms. So when we go to the stores, we already know what we want because we've seen it. We've seen it on celebrities. We don't need the store to tell us what's happening, what's hot, what we should buy. And this means that the designers have to interpret even more what the cultural movement that's happening around the world in order to target that audience, that demographic. If we don't, we fail and we don't sell. Men's jewelry is definitely growing. It's like a double-digit growth. Of course, women's jewelry, it's much higher because we're still dealing with high jewelry pieces that can cost up in the millions. But men's jewelry, it's definitely more growing. It's a less crowded environment in the industry. Men shop much easier if you have the product for them. And it's new. So when it's new, you start accumulating, you start creating your jewelry box, and men see jewelry even more as accessory to match with their sneaker, match with their cap, match with their hoodie. So it's a huge opportunity that's still underrated by the retail industry, because I think that the retail industry is not catching up yet with the new trends and the new demand of jewelry. This is a cameo, and this is my tradition, my family tradition, from my hometown of Torre del Greco, which is the only place in the world where cameos are still hand-carved. Cameos have always been a Victorian jewelry, women's jewelry, often referred to as grandma's jewelry. And that hurt me a lot growing up in my family business, because, you know, they say, oh, you make cameos, that's grandma's jewelry. So I realized when I moved to New York in my early 20s that I had to do something to change the perception of that. And I had to break from that tradition. What was the best way to do it? To create men's jewelry. I started to wear jewelry with cameos that nobody ever even thought of using. And I started to create more and more. I put it on my cap, as you saw. I put it on my shoes with studs. But that was also almost like an impossible mission, because how do you take something that was worn by old ladies in England to young guys in Brooklyn in New York? But that means persistence. You do it because you believe in it, you commit to it. At some point, I changed completely my store design in New York because I realized it was too feminine. And so I changed the color, I dimmed the lights, I did it more wood, more marble, more minimalistic, and suddenly men started to come in and buy for themselves, not for their wives. And most times our men clientele is a first-time jewelry buyer. And it could be a bank. It's not just Gen Z. It could be a man who works in banking, and then for one time he wants to feel cool at 50, wearing a big ring in the weekends on vacation, and spending even $3,000 for a ring with a cameo. So the next thing is the bespoke. Bespoke is a very, very important idea to relate with customers in the new economy and in the new men's jewelry and light jewelry. And I'm not discussing prices. This ring could be $2,000, $3,000. This is actually $10,000. But it's not about the pricing. It's about the message. It's about the intention. It's frequency. You have to get on the same frequency of your client. What's important is that creating a bespoke, custom-made pieces for our clients create a bond. And you ask them, what is important for you? What do you like? Is it about your dog? Is it about your tattoo? Is it about your new car? And then we create jewelry that it's personal to them, with a personal message that not only it's a one of a kind, it's unique, but it's unique to them. And that creates an incredible bond and established an incredible opportunity to grow a new market. We always create jewelry for our clients because we believe in this nurturing this relationship with our clients. I personally believe that the jewelry industry needs to go through a revolution, systemic revolution, because women still buy jewelry, men want to buy jewelry, but the retail industry, the way we sell jewelry at a wholesale level and the retail level, it's still stuck in the 80s. We haven't changed. We still have the same displays, the same shops, the same retail experience. But if we don't change that retail experience to speak to the Gen Z or to men, it will be hard to catch up with the business. But it's a huge opportunity, and this is what we're discussing today. Thank you very much. I hope you will embrace men's jewelry in your business.
Thank you, Amedeo, for the amazing sharing today. So before we go to Q&A session, may I now invite again our first speaker, Miss Alice, to come on stage first. Alice, please. So Amedeo, please remain on stage. So see if there's any questions from the floor. Any questions for Amedeo or to Alice? So please feel free to raise your hand. Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
So any questions?
Hello, good morning to both of you and to everyone here. My question is, for men's jewelry, is there a particular metal color that we see, men's affinity towards? Do you see more silvers or grays, or do you think it's, they're okay with even the rose golds or yellows?
Definitely, silver is the metal of choice. I don't think it's a matter of pricing or values, but it's more neutral, and it goes well with what usually men wear. It's also defined by the watch. So you want to wear a watch, a jewelry that matches with your watch color. And a lot of, for younger generation, for Gen Z, for example, probably the use of black diamonds, for example, the black silver is very intelligent. But now I see a lot of colorful. The young people, as they're wearing now pearls, as if nothing, they want to see color, and so they want to see different rhodium platings or titanium in different colors, sapphires, because they're not afraid. They have no boundaries. So the younger you go, the less boundaries you see, and so the more creative they're, because they're not afraid of wearing colors or more flamboyant things. They're not afraid of judgment. That's what it is.
Okay, thank you, Amedeo, and thank you for the questions. And any more?
Hi. We usually talk about jewelry purchase reasons like occasions or bridal or self-purchase or gifting. Do you see a difference in the way men's sort of segmentation and purchase reasons would differ from traditional?
Let's see if Alice has some data from the actual industry.
Well, there is no
Metadata.
there's no metadata showing like which occasions or which why men buy jewelry for themselves. But like in general, like for example, in Chinese like businessmen, they actually buy jewelry or like to besides self-pampered, they always treat it as an investment. So that's why. And like for the young teenagers, like or the Gen Z, they as Anando said that they are not afraid of color. So that's why they will buy many gemstones like or crystals to wear as a bracelet for the young generations. But they are always self-purchased for the young generations. Like for gifted, I'm not too sure whether the ladies here will buy jewelry for your husband. But I do, yeah, I do. I do buy like, for example, cufflinks or like traditional. Okay, my husband is older than me, so I have to buy those traditional like cufflinks or like bangles and stuff like that. Your point?
In my experience with our clients, men buy for themselves. And not for an occasion, but for styling purposes for a moment. It's very instinctual. If they're shopping in our resort boutiques, they will buy because of the moment. It's summer and they're enjoying the moment. It's the lifestyle. But in general, it's the lifestyle. And it's completely unrelated to any occasion. It's not for their birthday. It's not for their graduation. It's really styling. They buy jewelry the same way they buy a new hoodie or a new, even more than a new watch, because a watch lasts longer. But it's a matter of like styling themselves, expressing themselves.
Okay, thank you. So I saw that there's one more question from the audience at the front row. Yeah, thank you.
Amedeo, you spoke earlier about the men's market and retail stores. They can be quite feminine visually and just sensory. What do you think the industry need to do to pivot, to adapt to encouraging men to come in and shop?
I think they need to clearly, the shops being an experience, they need to be clearly designed for men's or for women. I'm not saying that the women jewelry need to transform, but if you want to really tap into the men's jewelry market, then you need to dedicate a space within the shop or open a secondary shop for men's, just like beauty salons for women. Would you ever see a man going into beauty salon to have his hair done? No, he wants to go into a barber shop. And now even more, the barbershop has to be with guys with with tattoos and cool and very urban feel. It makes you feel better. So it's about the intention. If you really feel, it's about the authenticity. So authenticity is the strongest feeling that we can vibrate at, more than love. It's authenticity. It really relates one another. If it's not authentic, if you're just putting a couple of women's jewelry, you make it black and you put it in the same vitrine with women and say to their husband, this is for men, he's never going to buy it. You have to create the environment, you have to create the message, the marketing, and it's all about this experience. So at retail level, you need to have either a men's shop dedicated, and those are, I think, they're the most successful, or within your existing shop, you create the men's corner, pop-up, shopping shop, that it's completely different and it speaks to men their language.
Thank you. So, here.
Thank you. Thanks both for your speeches today. Question for Alice. Your information regarding Western Europe and the growth of men's jewellery there, do you have a further breakdown for Europe itself so we can differentiate maybe UK from Germany and France, etc.?
I do. There are information with that, but I don't have it on hand with me right now. But in general, I can only show the overall growth in the world market. So sorry about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks for sharing all the information. You talk about how the retailer or tackle this issue by redesigning. But what if we want to educate those who hasn't changed their mind yet? For example, if I want to do more on social media, getting people to be interested. Because for example, I buy jewelry for my husband. He just kept it in the box and said, no way I'm going to wear it. I want to educate him. Actually, it's great, So what can I do if I want to educate the public?
So that's interesting. I don't think it's about educating in the sense of materials and values. I don't think we care. We should learn from the watch industry. The watch industry created rarity and messaging. So there is a few products and they become desirable by men because of their campaigns and because there's no confusion. Men don't want to be confused. But also it's about lifestyle. So if you will take your husband on a vacation where, in a resort where he's going to be exposed to other men wearing jewelry, he's going to wear jewelry. If you go in a resort on an island and everybody's wearing linen shirts and shorts, you're not going to wear your suit that you wear at work, right? So it's by comparison and by osmosis. But I also think that we don't have to educate anybody. We have to actually listen to the clients. And maybe your husband is not a jewelry type, right? But there is going to be many more jewelry type to come to attract to your store. So the problem is not to educate them, it's to educate ourselves how to host those clients. So they're out there, they're not coming to us. Let's not blame on that. Let's not blame them for not buying. Maybe we're not doing enough to host, to make them feel comfortable and to inspire them. So how do we inspire them? By creating the entire dimension of jewelry for men, which comes from the music that you play in your store, becomes the lighting, it becomes by the colors and the way you merchandise your cases. And this is offline and online. the campaigns, the models, everything. So it really starts with us. They are there. They want to buy jewelry. If they don't buy it from us, maybe they're buying somewhere else. But it's definitely a huge market and growing market. And if we design the environment around the jewelry, of course, the collection, the jewelry, we have to design it, they will come. So they want to just feel comfortable that they're buying something that they will not be embarrassed of. That's men. You know, a hairdresser could be as good for women and for men. But men, on their own, they will never walk into a women's hairdresser, right? Even though that guy's going to do a perfectly fine job. So it's about this embarrassment moment. So they need to go into their own environment. And we are lacking this environment, even at a wholesale level. I'll meet your husband and I'll sell him a ring. Later.
Hello. Hello. Thank you for your speeches. So my question is about the conservative markets. I will specify. I represent Eastern Europe myself, and especially I'm interested in the European youth, how the conservative European, Eastern European youth perceives the new trends, and also, for example, the materials. The gold that, let's say, the Ukrainian, the Russian, the Czech people like differs by color. And what is popular in China, which is more shiny, they just think, oh, it's gypsy gold, it's something cheap. So how fast the trends and, for example, the color, the tones of metals penetrate the conservative cultures such as Eastern European?
Okay, I will try my best. So like for the conservative market or for conservative consumers, let's put it that way, we don't go beyond like boundaries right now. So basically, I think like men's jewelries or like conservative consumers, they would like to buy something like more subtle, like not too shiny or go wow outrageous. So maybe like some like silver or like dark colors or those traditional jewelry will be the new focus for them to try to wear and to try to go in a more conservative ways. So not necessary to have a very big diamonds or very like colorful gemstones. Maybe try something small, try something subtle to get their attention first, to get their style or get their habit to wear jewelry first. And then like maybe after like several trials, or maybe they got their attentions from their peers and they showcase themselves like more confidently, they will go for something bigger, I think.
Yeah, I also, you know, from a design standpoint, I think that it starts from icons, celebrities. So whether it's Ukraine or United States, it doesn't matter. Humans are humans. Our brain works the same way. And I'll give you an example. In 2001 in America, it was very hard for me to sell traditional cameos. And that's what my family was doing. Very traditional. But I couldn't break through that idea and to go to another and more fashion-forward client, which I wanted to be with. I felt that that was my crowd. So I didn't change anything at the beginning, but I did that breakthrough. You know why? Because Sarah Jessica Parker started to wear my traditional cameos on Sex and the City. So all of a sudden, it was not grandma jewelry anymore, but it was Sex and the City, the most trend-setting show in the world, the most fashion-forward, and it ended up in Vogue and other celebrities after another, and then all the trend-setting stores in the world wanted to have my cameos. From there, I could evolve the design into most fashionable, more rings, cocktail rings, etc. So I think in the most traditional Eastern Europe, it's also somebody somehow needs to find those new icons and new celebrities. It's not about bending to the conservative client and be stuck in the same place for another 100 years. Because then when they will see celebrities, I'm sure that they listen to music that comes from, from Lady Gaga to Michael Jackson. right? So they're not stuck in the Eastern Europe music. But as trends evolve in culture and society, it will change also with jewelry. So it takes a little bit of commitment also on the retailers to show that and to invest in the marketing, because it all starts from that. It starts from the idea of who's wearing what, and then they will follow. They think they want the traditional jewelry. They don't want it. They just don't have the guts to buy the other ones.
Thank you. So let's conclude this seminar today. Please give a round of applause to our speakers today for such wonderful
so much.
sharing. So let's have a good photo. So may I also invite the session head, exhibition and digital
Hello. Thank you.
digital business of
Thank you so
HKTDC
much.
to have a good photo with our speakers. Okay, so look at the camera at the front. Smile. So we have come to the end of the seminar session, and taking place here again right now is another seminar titled A History of the Ring by LICO Asia Pacific School of Jewelry Arts. So you are most welcome to join. Thank you.